Lakeith, you making me hungry now.
I know I've been eating all day.
Look, you do what you got to do.
By the way, I want to say I love your reviews. I watch them. You're really good.
What?
Yeah, I really like them a lot. I'm subscribed to you, so.
Oh, thank you, Lakeith. I appreciate that. You just made my day.
Oh.
Thank you. I appreciate you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm a little hungry. I'm trying to address that, but I'm good. Better than most days. I'm not really a big press guy, but it's okay.
I know you're tired. I know you're probably tired.
Yeah, but getting through.
Well, hopefully I won't make it too bad. You can keep eating if you need to. I'm okay with it. I know how I feel to be hungry. But one of the first things that I wanted to ask you is, when I talked to Shaka the other day, you have one of the hardest roles in the film. You have the least amount of, archives to go through to really understand who Bill was. And so I really wanted to know, what was your approach for really your approach for this character, because you have so much room that you can go into, but at the end of the day, he's still almost like a villain.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough because, as you mentioned, I had, the interview from Eyes on the Prize. I had little court transcripts from after he dealt with the Black Panthers. And I had a couple second and third eyewitness accounts of people that said that they knew him. But other than that, there was nothing, especially from his operations with the Black Panthers, because it was so hidden by the FBI that I really didn't get a sense of what it was like. And even the proximity between him and the chairman, Fred Hampton, it was kind of hard to know. So I just took a moment from the interview where he said, I felt bad about what I did during that time, but I had to continue to play the role. So I took that and I wanted to try and open up the character with that, and just explore the idea that he might have just been a cog in a machine that was much bigger than him. Although that doesn't absolve him from the things he did. And obviously he was a character that would do certain things that a lot of people would find reprehensible, including me. But also there was an element to where he felt he didn't have a choice. He had to continue to do this or else he faced dire consequences.
I find it so interesting because I've been watching a lot of documentaries, especially the most recent one I watched was MLK FBI, where they really delve into what this harassment from the FBI looked like, because I think we kind of miss that when we look into our history of these figures. And I wanted to know, did you do any research looking at, documentaries, or really understanding the weight of the FBI and all of the low and vile things that they were doing in order to take down our leaders?
Yeah, it was extensive and intense. I mean, when people like Jake Winters died, which is hinted around in the movie, very quickly, the FBI would call their house, mocking them, as acting as other people, other groups and constituencies. They would act like different civil rights groups. This is probably what started gangs to begin with. Gangs as we know them today, most of them are rooted from civil rights groups that were, infiltrated and made to seem as enemies to the other group by FBI agents. They would go in and be like, oh, they said blah, 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 this, and how they wrote the letter, and that. Clearly it was the FBI who wrote those kind of letters. And when a lot of these women's kids would die, they would call the house, harassing them on a consistent basis. This kind of stuff happened. And also, the FBI would have technology that was way beyond what anybody understood at the time. I remember reading in the 60s, they had this microphone gun thing that you could point from 2 buildings over and be able to hear conversations inside the houses before they had adequate wiretapping. And it was just crazy. There's just a bunch of different things that they use and employ. But the main thing they used were other people to come in and, create disarray in the group. So that's what they did a lot with the Black Panthers.
When I talked to Chairman Fred, one of the interesting things, he talked about how Bill had plastic surgery, after working with the FBI. Is there any more facts, just crazy facts that you learned about him that you were just wow, I didn't even know all of this was going on?
Yeah, on one of the books I read, it explained how, he was working with the FBI in Mitchell years and years after he had dealt with the Black Panthers. And in one situation, he was pretending to be a member of some sort of gang, and he was in the car with them, and they drove up on an enemy territory. In order to prove himself, he stuck his hand out the window and shot at the other gang members, ended up killing somebody. So yeah, that was crazy. And then he got absolved of that.
What?
Yeah, because of his work with the FBI. It was you good, you have no consequences.
That,
So it was crazy.
That's a bit much right there. Okay. But that's a movie of that. But what I love about this movie is that it reaffirms that like we are powerful individuals, we are powerful beings, that we can accomplish so much. And when you look at Fred Hampton's life and everything that he was able to do just at 21 before he was assassinated, I really wanted to know for you, did that like spark some inspiration? Like, hey, like I can do a lot in this world right now.
Yeah, it just, man, it's so inspiring. It's like, you know, yeah, we talked about sometimes in film how more people are like William O'Neill than like Chairman Fred Hampton in the world, generally speaking. And it really helps us gain like an understanding. Like at 21, he put the lives of other people before himself and really gave a huge sacrifice for all of us to move forward. If he can do something like that, I can at least, come out here and protest or, help
Right.
give to somebody who's in need or do something to help bring up, people that need help and need encouragement. But the most thing that I can do that Chairman Fred Hampton seemed to be able to do perfectly is internal work and change the inner workings of myself so that way I may be able to give and love to others because he was very disciplined. He didn't do drugs. There was documents where O'Neill talked about trying to get him caught up in having guns or drugs illegally, doing messed up stuff, and he never could find anything on him. He was like, why is this guy a negative figure and I can't find anything on him? And it's because he wasn't a negative figure and he had internal discipline. So that's one thing I take out of it. I'm inspired by.
Lakeith, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciate you. I know you're tired, so I appreciate you talking with me.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
I hope you have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you.